So today we're going to be working on a little Austin in the background. We've got some heater parts to fit and testing out the heater box itself, because obviously that's not ran or been plumbed in since maybe 1981, so it's a good 40 years since it's worked. We're going to try today to test to see if it looks alright, get all the coolant out of it, get all the coolant out of the car, and hopefully get some fresh stuff in and get it all up and running. First thing, we are going to look at some of the spare parts that have arrived recently. We've had to order them from various owners of the Austin group. They've been very helpful with providing images, diagrams and spare parts, knowledge, information, all sorts of useful things. So we'll grab some parts and away we go. Yep, okay, definitely not going to be buying any wine, but we've got some heater hose here, 1/2 inch, ready to plumb back in. And then this one should be a nice copper pipe fit across the top of the manifold, providing I can get into it. It's very well wrapped. Ow! Yep, there we go. One old piece of pipe. Nice. Thank you very much. Right, so we'll go over, we'll open up the engine bay. And, well, we'll open up the bonnet, take a look at the engine bay, see what we need to get started. Well, first things first, air filter off. Oh, we're going to have a look deeper in here. So, this here is the heater box. Got to disconnect that from whatever's holding it in. Might literally just be this. We have got to replace this pipe here and then feed the new copper pipe across the top of the manifold and then connect this one back into here. Should be nice and easy. Been on for some years, that has. Go on, come loose, come loose. Yes. I've had to grab a torch, stick a torch here, just so I can get in here and show you what I'm about to undo. And by the looks of it, deep 7mm, too big. There we go. He's on. Sweating some power this is. Got a bit of oil at the top, a bit of oil at the bottom. Basically, there's somewhere you can get oil. We've got it. Right. No, that's not loose enough yet. Let's see if I can get a little 7 on a little extension in. which does not want to let go. Well, after a bit of a fight, that one down there has come off. It took some working, considering there's only a little engine in this engine bay. Like, it's difficult to get your hands in. Everything's so small. This pipe here, this is the air feed to the heater box. We need a flat screwdriver to get that off. Bolts down there, 2 on each side, and then he should lift out, hopefully. Let's have a go. Looks like we're going to have to replace this little gasket here as well, because it's split in a number of places. It's not going to make a massive difference, but if we're going to do a job, we might as well do it right. My phone is ringing. Didn't know the new radio did that. Bolt. See if we can get on it nicely. I'm going to move this so I can see. Oh, it's flickering. Nope, no other bolts. Nope. Just need to get it past that pipe and get it away from this. Find out what's attaching these pipes, which is absolutely nothing. And let's see if I can work this out of the gap. Said I didn't want to drop stuff. There we go. Oh, it's heavier than I expected. Nice big gap here now. Look, we can see there's a gasket down the bottom, which, well, there was. Let's take you into this. There was a gasket down the bottom, look. I think that's in better days. For sure. Right, so for testing this, I'm going to use this horrible bit of pipe we had earlier. I'm going to put it on there as far as I can get it and tighten it up. And then I'm going to get my new piece of pipe on this one here, and then I'm going to put a funnel in the end of it and pour water into it and see if it works. Well, see if it's watertight. I don't know if that'll make it work. I think we need a few more items to make it work, but we'll give that a go. I've got this. I'm going to try and push it onto there nicely. Work that up through there so it will hold it. Oh, look at that, perfect. Put that in there, and then I can go and fill this up and then pour some water into it. Don't need to activate one of these levers or anything. So don't actually know. Right, let's see. I think the next part might involve me blowing with my mouth on this part to see if any of it comes out of anywhere in here. Lovely. Right, let's see if I've got something to get the water back out of that thing. I have. Let go. Wow. I'm not going to worry about tightening Jubilee clips up too much on that. I mean, I would like to have a look inside this box just to make sure everything looks in good condition before I plumb it all in and find out that it's any good. I just knew it. I knew it. As soon as you take the little pipe off, things start piddling everywhere. I don't know which way I've got to tip it because I don't know what's inside, what orientation it's in. I mean, the heater box is surprisingly heavy. So I'm just going to let it drip on the towel for now, till it's empty anyway. Right, so while taking these clips off the top of the box, you can't really see them very well. You need to be well aware that if you're going to ping them off with a screwdriver like I've just done, you need to have your hand over the top of them so you don't lose them. So I've nearly hit the car with that. And as you can see, the car is in really good condition. So I don't want to risk damaging any paintwork on it because it costs a fortune to get it redone. So, looking at the heater box, I've had the back off it, and you can see here that this is open, moves freely. That's good. Then on the underside, we have got another flap down here. That's open and moves freely. That's nice. Let's make sure that this heater box is nice and empty. We don't want no old horrible water in there. We don't want no rusty bits of rubbish in there. So yep, it's all looking pretty good. I did get some over the floor, but at least it's not this horrible dirty stuff here. Right, now with everything all cleared out, it's time to put this back together, get the thermostat back on it, and then we'll look at making a gasket for in there. And then we can start plumbing the pipes back in. I might be able to get some of the pipe work in today. I'll have to see if I can find some gasket first. So bear with. So we're on pause because I don't seem to have a gasket or anything to go around that. My dad reckons that at his house he might have some rubber that we can cut round it, make it fit. So that'll be nice. So I might start with fitting that new copper pipe and the new hose from the radiator to the engine. Getting that all plumbed in ready. I could do with testing this blower motor, seeing if it works, make sure it spins before I get too excited, find out it doesn't work and take it all back out again. Right, let's have a look. So, I've had a quick look. I can see here that this green cable with a brown stripe on it goes up and through the firewall. So, let's have a look in here, see if we can find anything similar. We'll get rid of the cover. That's got to go in the back out the way. So, that's the cover out the way. Oh, you joking me? I found it already. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Right, let's see if we can stick that somewhere to help us see. That's definitely the cable. But where that cable goes, could be anywhere. It goes up into there. Got connector blocks everywhere. That's nice. That has been crimped together. I could just do with now finding out where that goes. So I can feel it up there. So it runs inside that. Can you see that? Oh. Right. These three here. We've got H. That might be the heater. This is the wipers. P. I can't remember what P's for. But yeah, bear with me. I can't see if that's aiming the right place or anything. But we should be able to see. Yes, there it is. Lovely. That's what we like to see. Right, let me go and get the key and see if it works then. Right. Key on. Oh, I can hear it. Where's my torch? Get you in there. Yeah, buddy. It works. That's good news. Alright, let's start getting some pipe work back in then. Wonder if it's Yep, it is ignition live, because I know these aren't. The lights, you can just turn the lights on at any point ever. So that's sound. And it doesn't beep to tell you the door's open. Happy days. Right then. Let's start getting some pipe working. We need the new version of that pipe there. And the copper pipe. So, I believe over here in this Hero Box. Oh, well, that's empty, so that's sound. Where have I put that? Do you reckon it's in this box of spares? No, it's there. Look, I can see it. Turns out I've actually got two of these pipes because I believe the previous owners, Les and Jean, they had one ready, which is there. And I've got this one here because I ordered one thinking that we didn't have one. Didn't look in the box of spares first. Rookie error. Right, copper pipe as well. Going to put these on the car. Made a right mess down here. Look, got all sorts of stuff on the go. Right, we'll start with this pipe and these Jubilee clips. Which way is best to fit them? So we're going to have that one that way, and then that one I'll probably put on in a minute at the bottom, like that, facing down, so I can access it from underneath. And then this bit of pipe sticks up out the top, so we can connect the copper pipe into it. So let's get that in. We'll aim down there, cover the light up with my hand so you can't see what I'm doing. Wow, it is tight. I've tried to get that as vertical as I can because my OCD doesn't allow twisty pipes. So we'll get the bottom one on now, and then I'll look at doing the copper pipe. I've been wrestling with this pipe at the bottom, can't get it on. So I'm going to take the pipe back off and soak it in hot water for a couple of minutes to soften the pipe, and then see if I can get it on again. Should be able to on the second attempt, hopefully. Pipe's on. I will never be defeated by a silicon pipe. It's not happening. Very nearly defeated by one, but not this one. Right, it's time for this copper pipe And if I'm not mistaken, I've got to take some manifold bolts out. Goes in. Kind of like this. Can we see anything? We can see the pipe there. It lines up with the 2 tabs, so I'm going to have to take those nuts out. See? My plan is drag that out, get this in quick. Was a terrible plan. Try with a bigger funnel. Can't fit the heater box itself until I've got the gasket that goes in there. So I think I'm going to have to hold on here until I've got the gasket. Oh, actually, got a longer one and a shorter one. I would guess that because of the orientation of this being that way and the controls being on this side, that the longer cable goes through the right hand side from here. We'll stick them through there, see how they look. So I've given them a push through the holes, as you can see. Left the longer one on the right hand side. And then as we go into the car, we can see that they stick out there. And they come through perfectly there, which is nice because if I can stick this somewhere nicely, the heater control goes here through these holes, so it should fit very nicely. Looks like they're going to reach. We'll find out. It's another day. Last night I went to get some of this from my dad. It's just 6mm thick rubber. I'm hoping that it's wide enough for me to cut a bit of a gasket. I'm going to double layer it because I believe the old one I've been told was 10mm thick. So 2 layers of this 6mm should sit quite nicely. Well, 2 6s are obviously 12. Should sit quite nicely under the heater box and keep us a nice sort of tight lock. Stop any air leaks. I'm just going to quickly measure up and see what size I need to cut. As you can see, my dad's already had a go at this, so we'll cut 2 nice square pieces to go underneath. So I should look at connecting these cables up. Now, what I should have looked at before I started is how they connect. So, they go down there. Now, have I got anything to stand this on? Not really, no. Hang on. Kind of. So, what I need to do is feed the cable into this clamp and then through a hole in that, which, see down here, we've got all the connections, all the cables in the right place. The only thing I haven't done is completely set up where I'm going to put those cables and sort of where they're set up. I think I've got to wait until I've got the controls inside the car to be able to set up sort of how tight they're going to be, if you like. Then I'll consider putting the blower motor back in. It turns out I didn't drop a nut out of it. I don't know what I've dropped. But on top of that, I have dropped a screwdriver in the oil underneath the car. Right, so this is the heater control. Got good news, this came with 2 securing bolts and some rubber washers to go between this and the chassis, which is good news. Stop it vibrating all the time and rubbing the metal off and all the paint. I've got one of these nice little cable clamps which has got like a hole in it, so I can connect the top one up. However, the air one at the bottom on the underside, it's missing the clamp for the cable, and I don't have another one of those to go in there without raiding all those boxes down there for the parts. So I'm going to put the top one in, clamp the cable, hopefully get it bolted in, see if I've got a spanner that's this small, because obviously I've got to tighten it up somehow. Yeah, and we'll see if I can get this bit at least bolted in, ready to go. And then at a later date, then I can just bolt that bit on, put the cable in and start setting it all up. Nice. Right, I've got to access just under here. This is where it's going to bolt. There's 2 holes here, which is nice. I think the front seats have got to come out, but it shouldn't be too difficult because quite literally they just rock forward. So whatever's securing them in is just going to be at the front there. I've had to pause with this because I don't think that I've got this lever connected correctly, because this pulls that way, but also it's activating this at the end, and it doesn't feel like one cable is going to do the job. But then on the bottom cable I've got literally just this, which is absolutely sound, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel like I've got everything right. So I'm going to have to pause, start doing some research as to where exactly the cables go, if this metal bar's in the right place, because there's a metal bar behind this cable. It goes to the thermostat. I just don't feel like it's correct. And before I put anything back together, I need to make sure I've got them on the right way so I can connect them correctly inside the car. If they're all incorrect, it's not going to work as it's supposed to, is it? So I'm going to have to put it on pause. Bear with me. It's Friday. We've had been out this morning to collect something rather clean, I'd like to describe it as. And here they are, freshly refurbished wheels for the Integra. I've had the EP3 wheels done in silver, so they look nice and sort of standard and fresh and clean. And then the Integra wheels, the standard white. We get them on the car. I've had these done at Planet Alloys in Aldridge, and they have done a fantastic job. I mean, the quality of that, a little bit dirty, a little bit dusty, but they look good. It's really nice. I've done a bit of work to the old Austin off the camera. Quite simply, I haven't really had time. But as you can see from here, actually, you can't. The blower motor is back in, the pipe's back in, the cables are connected up. A guy called Neil on the A30 Owners Club on Facebook pointed me in the right direction with which one goes where. I've literally got to connect up one more. Well, I've got to put the driver's seat back in. I've got this in, the control for it. It's a bit on the stiff side, but the cable hasn't been worked for quite some years, so I'm not worried about that. I need to connect up this cable here to the bottom piece, but I'm missing one little clamp. So I think I'm going to connect the cable and fit the clamp when it gets here. The only other thing I've got left is flush out the coolant system. It's completely empty at the minute, and I've got my blue antifreeze down here to go in. So I'm going to top it up with water, empty it back out by the bleed screw in the bottom of the radiator, which I didn't use when I emptied it the first time. I just took the bottom radiator hose off. Little bit of a silly move. But yeah, I'm going to fill it up, empty it out. Providing it comes out nice and clear, or is fairly clear, I'm going to fill it up with antifreeze and run it up. I'd just like to point out that this, with all this gunk in the bottom, is what came out of it originally. But it's been in there since maybe 2006, so it's what, been in there 15, 16 years maybe. It's quite a long time for the coolant not to be changed, but I haven't got proof of that, so don't count me on it. So yesterday, did a lot of experimenting with the heater box. Turns out in here I got an airlock. So after flushing it through about 3 times and releasing the air from here, I've managed to get everything as I need it. So final step for this job is going to be draining all the water out of it and putting the new coolant in, and then running it up again. So we'll have it running again today. It was blowing warm air yesterday, so that's good news. The only thing I still need is the plate to make sure I can clamp that correctly, and then we should be in business. I'm going to try and crank this open by hand. It is cold. It hasn't been started today. And I'm going to need a choke on, so. I'm giving up already. Finally, after some tinkering, I've managed to get the heater box working, and I've found out that this is slightly different to an MG midget in terms of the T-piece here. This is the in-feed. No, this one's the out-feed, sorry. The in-feed comes from the back of the block here into the thermostat, through the heater box, and then back out and joins the engine here. I believe that this is the water pump, and obviously it pumps through the rad. I don't know which way it goes as it goes down there, but this pipe, after running for 5-10 minutes, is now warm, and I've got warm air blowing into the cabin. So the next task is to bolt the driver's seat back in, and then we're all good. I've already got it back up on the dollies, so I can manoeuvre it around the garage as I need to. I can also get under it a little bit better to tighten up the 2 bolts that we have going through the floor. So all is good. I think I'm going to end this video here. The next sort of job on this, it's already really clean, been freshly polished. May be to try and sort out the oil leaks, because we are sweating some power under here. We've got engine leaks front and back, oil leaks front and back, hence 2 trays. And then further down there, we've got another one for the diff. But actually that won't be the next job. The next job will be making it stop, because as it currently stands, you can be driving along down the road, you brake, it goes left. You can turn right and brake, it still goes left. So, bit of a strange one, but I've been told I can have a check over the cylinders inside the brake drums, front and rear. Although you would assume that, you know, it's on the steering, it's going left when you brake. I've been told it can be the rears, but I think someone I know may have a disc brake conversion for the front, which would be a lot more modern, a lot more efficient braking. But we'll see how it goes and see what bits we need and how much money I need to spend to make it do that. But I'd love to get it out on the road and just drive around. The looks that we got on the way from my dad's house to here when we finished the garage was unreal. So many people just look at it and smile. It's great. Oh, and my mate Kyle hates it, which makes me want to keep it even more. Yeah, you big head.